I'm going to do a short tutorial on box and whisker plots. Box and whisker plots are used to identify useful information in a large set of data. So for example, up here at the top we have a set of 9 pieces of data, the length of noodles in a box. First thing we need to do is put these pieces of data in order. So we've got a 4, 10, 11, 16, 24, 26, 29, 31, and 35. Once we have our data in order, we can start picking out the pieces of information that we need to make our box and whisker. One of the pieces that we need is the upper extreme and the lower extreme. So the upper extreme, or UE here, is the highest number, and that's 35. And the lower extreme is the lowest number, and that is 4. Our range, then, is the difference between the upper extreme and the lower extreme, and that's 31. To find the median, we are going to count back to the center number in our set of data. So I'm marking out here left and right, one at a time, until I get to the median. The median for this set is 24. Okay, in order to find the upper quartile number, I am going to look to the right-hand side of my median, which will be these numbers here, and the left-hand side. These numbers here will make up the lower quartile. When you have an odd set of numbers in your data set, the median is not used to find your quartile numbers. Okay, we exclude that from our two sets. So now we have 4 numbers on the left, 4 numbers on the right. To find our lower quartile, which is the lower half, we're going to count back to the middle. We end up with 10 and 11. The median number in this lower quartile is halfway between 10 and 11. 10.5 will be our lower quartile number. In our upper quartile, we count to the center. We're in between 29 and 31. So 30 is our upper quartile number here. Okay? Now, we can go ahead and write these down over here. Lower quartile was 10.5. The upper quartile is 30. For the interquartile range, you are going to subtract the upper quartile number minus the lower quartile number. Okay, 19.5 here for the interquartile range on this problem. Now to graph this, we are going to create a number line. We're ranging from 4 to 35. So I'm going to go ahead and count by 5s on my number line. Start with 5, 10, 'Okay? Actually, I would need to go all the way back down here to 0 to get my lower extreme number. Okay, now, when I'm ready to start graphing, first thing I'm going to graph is my median. My median is 24, so I'm going to put a line right here for a dot for the median. Let me change colors here. We'll put a dot for the median. And I'm going to draw a line through that. That's my median number, 24. I'm going to write an M up there for median. Then I am going to plot the lower extreme and the upper extreme. So the lower extreme is at 4, and the upper extreme is at 35. Okay? And next, I'm going to plot my quartiles. So my upper quartile is at 30. Lower extreme, upper extreme. My upper quartile is at 30. And my lower quartile is at 10.5, so I'm going to put it about right there. Okay? LQ. Now, with my lower quartile, my median, and my upper quartile, I'm going to make my box. The majority of the numbers in my data set fall between the lower quartile and the upper quartile. Then to make my whiskers, I'm going to draw from the lower extreme to the lower quartile and from the upper quartile to the upper extreme. This creates my box and whisker plot. Okay, this is with an odd number of data here. Let's take a look at an example that has an even number of data, and I'll show you how to find the upper and lower quartiles here. Here we have 8 pieces of data. We need to put them in order. 2, 3, 4, 5, 8, 9, 10, 17. Now, the median, of course, we're going to have a lower extreme of 2, an upper extreme of 17. Our median is halfway, so we got to mark out our numbers back to the middle. We end up with 5 and 8. So for our median, we're going to take 5 plus 8 and divide it by 2 to get our median number, what's halfway in between 5 and 8. So 5 plus 8 is 13. And when we divide that by 2, we're going to get 6.5. 6.5 for our median. I'll write that over here, 6.5. Okay? In order to find the lower quartile number, since the median was not part of my data set, I'm going to go ahead and use these 4 numbers over here for the lower quartile. I'm going to count back to the middle. Between 3 and 4 is 3.5. That will be my lower quartile. And up here, I'm going to use 8 up to 17. Mark back to the middle. Between 9 and 10, this is 9.5. So my upper quartile number is 9.5. I actually have just the numbers that I need to plot here. I'm going to go ahead and plot this without finding the range or the interquartile range. Okay? So I'm going to count by 2s. You're going to have to use the number that works for you on whatever problem you're working on. Okay. Now, I can plot my lower extreme at 2, my upper extreme at 17. My median is at 6.5. So there's 7, so this is about 6.5 here. So put a line through that to make my box for a median. My upper quartile is at 9.5, about right here. And my lower quartile is at 3.5, so about right here. I make my box with my lower and upper quartile and my medians. And my whiskers go from the extremes to the quartile. And that is a completed box and whisker for this problem.